Welcome back to the Culinary School Survival Guide with your boy Chef EJ at Jelani Catering. This episode, we're going to talk about both my culinary school visits. One, the SIM, Culinary Institute of Michigan, where I actually attended, and the second, Lincoln Technical Institute, which is located in Connecticut, which I also visited that campus. The first visit we're going to get into is the school I actually went to, the SIM. I went up to Muskegon, Michigan with my mother, my grandmother, my father, and of course myself. It was a great visit. The campus was everything I expected. The facility was nice and it was beautiful. Located right in Muskegon, Michigan, which is outside of Grand Rapids, as I always say. Now, Muskegon, Michigan is about 2.5, 3 hours away, depending on snow. Michigan, of course, it's always depending on snow. From Detroit, Michigan, where I'm originally from. So as I said, my mother, father, and grandmother, and myself all rode up to Muskegon to take a visit of the campus. The first part of the campus they showed us was the financial aid, academic advising, and what you would call the main campus, where all of my general ed classes would be, the bookstore is, where I would go to talk to people about my financial aid. Like I said, the facility was beautiful. Everything was brand new, nice, clean. I was highly impressed with the main campus. After we visited the main campus, we went over to the actual SIM location where all of the culinary classes will be held. Now, I highly suggest you all look up the Culinary Institute of Michigan in Muskegon. It's a beautiful 3-4 facility that any culinary student will be proud to learn or cook out of. State-of-the-art equipment, excellent instructors. Once again, just a clean and brand new facility. The people there were nice and welcoming, and they took me through the labs, and I got to actually see the classrooms or kitchens that I would be learning in. They had a restaurant tech kitchen, which was a full service, what you would call upscale or fine dining restaurant that actually was open and served the public. They had the general skills 1, 2, 3 labs, which are, your culinary basics for any culinary student. They also had state-of-the-art baking labs with brand new ovens and I'm not really a baker, but, just beautiful baking equipment. The baking labs were, as far as I was concerned, being a culinary student, were, second to none. I'm sure the CIA and Johnson & Wales guys might have something to say about that. But for me, I was highly impressed. Now, the lab I was most impressed with was the charcuterie or garde manger lab, where you learn how to process cured meats and break down a whole pig and, things of that nature. That fascinated me, and a lot of culinary schools didn't offer that program, which that ended up becoming one of the deciding factors of why I chose that school, for the record. And as I said, the staff there was warm, welcoming, and very friendly. And they invited us to dinner at the Courses restaurant, which was the full service restaurant owned and operated by the school. But my mother has a severe seafood allergy, and my grandmother is also allergic to shellfish. So my mom can't eat fish or shellfish, and my grandmother can't eat shellfish. So just out of their own personal reasons, they opted out of dining, while me and my father, we're both adventurous as far as food goes, so we would have loved to dine at Courses. But for that day, we did not dine there. But after looking at the menu and seeing what they served, and of course the pictures, me as a aspiring culinarian, I was still highly impressed. And just just as a disclaimer, after going through the program and knowing the school would have done everything to make sure my mother and grandmother's food was safe and things of that nature. However, like I said, for their personal reasons, they're just highly cautious at any restaurant. I don't care if it's Roof Chris, J. Alexander's, or any of your other top chains or what you would consider fine dining. They're just cautious due to their allergies. So that's definitely not a knock to the school. As I said, the menu was fabulous and definitely intrigued me as a young culinarian. After the visit of the actual culinary campus, with me being thoroughly impressed, the the admissions advisor took us over to the student housing, which again I was thoroughly impressed with. They had townhouses set up for the college students as dorms. And the college was a small private college which didn't only offer culinary arts. It offered baking and pastry. It also offered medical, which their medical program was actually big at the time. They offered massage, veterinarian, criminal justice, social work, which I have friends in all of those fields. So it wasn't just a culinary school, it was a college or a private college that offered a culinary program, which happened to be excellent. With that being said, you could be rooming or be a dorm mate with anybody of any field. It wasn't exclusively culinary students. So back to the townhouse or dorm situation. It was a nice, beautiful facility where there were multiple townhouses. Some of them were two people per, some were 4 people per. Each student shared a room with one person. You had your own kitchen, you had a living room, you had a basement. They had a facility which was called the Brick. Hey, shout out to Brick. I had a lot of great times there in school, where you could go and play pool, play cards, ping pong, do your laundry, use the computer lab, or just have a general space to meet and collaborate or commune with your fellow college students. They would also throw programs and put different things on, magic shows, Halloween contests, Christmas party, Thanksgiving events, all of those natures that you would expect from any college campus. After we concluded the visit of the campus housing, and I was once again thoroughly impressed. I was thoroughly impressed with everything I saw from the main campus, where I would take my gen eds, the bookstore, the culinary campus, and the lab classrooms there, as well as the housing. I could definitely see myself living there. Wasn't too cramped. I said this could definitely be a place I went. So I was almost sold, if not already sold, on the sim. My next campus visit was, like I said, Lincoln Technical Institute, which was another college that offered multiple programs, including culinary. But they were more of a tech or trade center focused. So they had like HVAC, heating and cooling, welding, things of that nature. Which this school was a great school. I actually ended up working with a couple people who went there when I worked in Massachusetts at one point. But the reason I even entertained the school or thought about going on a campus visit was because 3 of my high school friends were going there and enrolled in other programs. So just to go visit and see, I chose to go check out Lincoln Technical Institute. My 3 friends that were also going to this school was my boy D. Lando. Shout out, bro. Hope everything is going well with you. My boy Fonzo. Hey, Freaky Fees. And my boy KB. We were all going to this school and going on this campus visit to check it out because they had programs that we like. Fonzo and my boy D Lando was involved in welding, and my boy KB was enrolled in the HVAC program. So we all went down, and for me, this trip, I kind of already knew that I was going to go to the sim, but for the sake of just checking it out, and, you know, 3 of my good friends were going, you know, I had to go. And let me tell you, we had a ball on this campus visit. I did not have as much fun on this college visit, or I'm sorry, I had more fun on this college visit than I did on the school I ended up going. But of course, that was only because my friends were there. We took a charter bus down to Connecticut. We rode, I believe it was like a 12 to 15 hour drive. My boy D Lando, his grandmother went with us. And as I say, my boy D Lando, Fonzo, and KB, they all went to this school. You know, I just didn't go. But when we went down there, we had a ball. And our tour guide was a guy named Dave. I don't know if Dave is still doing the tours, but once again, shout out to Dave. I don't remember his last name, but Dave is a great guy. Shout out to Dave. Dave bought the whole bus McDonald's on the way there and on the way back. Everybody had McDonald's, and it was cool. I mean, McDonald's is not fancy, but imagine a bus about 50 people. You know, Dave come, he whip out a roll at McDonald's because he was a tour guide, you know, the way there and back, and they fed us. You know, they took us on the campus visit. You know, me and my guys, we went to the mall while we were there. Matter of fact, when we went to the mall, we actually ended up holding the tour up because we spent too much time in the mall, in the store, looking around because we was having too much fun and playing around. You know, looking back on it, maybe we should have been more serious. But, you know, all of us came out with it right. You know, came out all right. And, you know, we definitely had a good time during that college tour. And looking back on it, you know, like I said, I already knew I was going to the sim, but to go and see how the other program, which Lincoln Technical Institute was a great program. The classrooms were nice, the dorms were nice. I actually got to stage in one of the classrooms and see what it was like to be a student, and I actually enjoyed it. However, the turnoff for me, as opposed to the sim, was that, you know, Lincoln only offered a certificate program, and I was really trying to get a degree because I felt a degree would set me apart just a little bit more than the next candidate. So ultimately, I ended up choosing the sim, although Lincoln Technical Institute is a great school, and like I said, I've worked with people that come out of there and they produce great chefs. But the school for me ended up being the sim, and I can't take anything away from any other school, but that was the school for me. But I think we're going to go ahead and end it there. And if you want to hear a little more about my culinary school survival guide or my culinary school experience, tune in to the next episode where we talk about the orientation. Cheers!